You're going to love these easy DIY winter decoration ideas, and for this first idea, I started off by painting a plastic jar white to make the base of a s'more, and I also painted the lid of the jar brown and waited for the paint to dry. Next, I used hot glue to make drips right below where the lid of the jar screws on by making the drip myself, or I let it drip down on its own, and I did try to do this slowly so the jar wouldn't melt that bad. Now once the glue was dry, I painted the glue and where the lid screws on with more than one coat of brown paint to make it look like chocolate. Then I painted where I wanted a snowman's face to be. And while the paint was drying, I cut 2 squares out of foam board to start making graham crackers. And I made sure they were both larger than the jar and the lid. When I was done, I took a toothpick and pressed the toothpick into the middle of each foam board. And when I was done, I marked where I wanted to make the holes of the graham crackers with a pencil. And then I poked the toothpick through the foam board to make the holes, but you can just poke the holes in just the one that will be on the top of the s'more. Then I painted both sides of each piece of foam board with a light brown color. And if the holes disappear, you can poke the holes again with the toothpick. And after the paint dried, I glued one of the pieces of foam board to the bottom of the jar. And then I put small amounts of glue on the bottom and painted it brown so it would look like chocolate underneath of the marshmallow. Now the last thing I did was that I put the lid on the jar and glued the other piece of foam board on top of it to finish this cute Snowman S'more idea, and it can be used to organize things or as a gift. And now for this next DIY, I took the lid off of this box and painted the box white so I wouldn't see the brown underneath of what I was putting on it. Next, I glued on white rope all around the box until I reached the top, and I made sure to push the rope together so it would stay even. When I was done, I cut 2 pieces of rope that are the same size, and then I glued them on in an arch shape on the rope that's on the box to make it look like a basket. Then I glued a piece of ribbon along the top of the basket, and I also glued on a bow. After that, I glued on 2 black buttons to finish the Snowman Basket, and you can customize it to look the way that you want. And now for this third DIY, I took the lid from the box and poked a hole into the side of a pin so I can hang it later. Next, I painted it blue to match the snowflake paper that I'll be using as a background. And once it was dry, I traced the lid on the back of the piece of paper and then I cut it out. Then I put Mod Podge where I wanted the background to be, and placed the background where I wanted it, but if you want, you can just paint the background. Now as that was drying, I made 2 penguins out of rocks by painting them black, and I didn't paint the whole back of the rock because it would be easier for the rocks to hold onto the background. Then once the paint was dry, I painted the white part of the penguins. And then once that was dry, I painted orange feet, a beak, and 2 black eyes. After that, I painted where I wanted snow to be and waited for it to dry. And while I waited for it to dry, I folded a piece of gray embroidery thread in half, and then I twisted it where I folded it, and ran it through the hole that I made earlier. Then I tied a knot on both sides of the hole so it won't come out, and if you want, you can add a little bit of hot glue or Mod Podge to keep it in place. Now to finish this, I glued on both penguins where I wanted them with hot glue. And then I put Mod Podge over where the snow is and put fake snow over it and tap the excess off. Here's how this ornament came out, and I think the penguins turned out looking really cute. And now for this last DIY, I painted a wood tray a light blue so it would match this piece of paper that looked like a snowy tree. And I also painted a wood snowflake white. Next, I measured and cut out a piece from the paper that would go on the bottom of the tray. Then I glued it on the back with Mod Podge. And I also cut a piece out of white cardstock paper and glued it over one of the shortest sides of the tray so I could glue things on top of it. After that, I cut off the ribbon from this reindeer ornament and glued it on the white piece of paper. Then I put Mod Podge on the white paper and put fake snow on it. Now to finish this, I glued a white bow on top of the tray, and then I glued the wood snowflake on the middle of it. Here's how this winter display turned out, and you can put whatever you would like on it. That's how I made these winter DIY ideas. In the comments down below, let me know which DIY is your favorite, and if you like this video, subscribe to see more videos. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!